before the winter break? Anybody? Do you remember what we discussed? You are not responding. I am not able to hear. Are you saying something, anybody? Hello? Let me switch this off. Hello, students. Am I audible to you now? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So before the winter break, we were discussing about car fitting. So we discussed how to fit a car to a given set of data points. Is not it? Now, then we started discussing about cubic spline, and after that, mid-semester break was announced. So today I'll be starting from cubic spline. Do you see my screen, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So as the problem is here, so if the data points are large in number, and if you find the interpolating polynomial passing through the data point, then it may not be accurate. What I am saying, that interpolating polynomial may not converge to the actual curve every time. It is not necessarily it will converge. And the problem is, if the data points are more, let's say suppose there are 500 data points. So if you apply Newton's forward difference formula or Newton's backward difference formula or Lagrange's interpolation formula, which one is appropriate, then you may end up with 499th degree polynomial, which will be passing through all 500 data points. Now, if the degree of the polynomial is high, there will be more ups and downs in the curve, and you may see that at the beginning and at the end there may be a huge fluctuation between the exact data obtained from the function and the data obtained from the experiment. So here you will see one such example. Here you see the function is f of x equals to 1 by 1 plus x square. Okay, so this is the function. Let me open this in Microsoft Edge. I can plot it here, no problem is there. So this is the curve. F of x equals to 1 upon 1 plus x square. So it is not a polynomial of finite degree, is it? Is it a polynomial of finite degree? No. Now if you plot this function in xy plane, the graph of the function looks something like this. So this is x-axis, this side is y-axis. At x equals to 0, height will be 1. So suppose this is 1, this is 2, this side this is 1, this is so this is 2, 1, -1, -2, this is 1, and that. Okay, fine. So this is the coordinate system, this is origin O. Now if we plot the function, the plot is this is the plot of the function. It is always positive. So this is the plot of the function. Just a moment. So this is the plot of the function y equals to 1 by 1 plus x square. So this is not a polynomial of finite degree. So let us try to approximate this function in the interval -5 to +5. So let us try to approximate the function in the interval -5 to +5. Okay. So here somewhere it will be -5. Let's suppose this is -5. And on the side somewhere it will be +5. Okay. Now, so how to approximate the function by polynomial? So you will have to create data points. You will have to create data points. So what you do first, you divide the interval -5 to +5. Let us consider 6 data points. The data points are highlighted by these dots. So first data will be at x equals to -5, then x equals to -3, then x equals to -1, then x equals to +1, then x equals to +3, then x equals to +5. So these are the x values, and you find out what will be the corresponding y values from the function. So this is x are -5, -3, -1, +1, 3, 5. These are the x values, and from the function you evaluate what are the corresponding y values. Okay, so what are the corresponding y values at x equals to -5? 1 by 1 plus 125, 25, 5 into 5, 25. So 1 by 26. So it will be 1 by 26. At 3 minus 3, it will be 1 by 10. Then at -1, it will be 1 by 2. Then 1, then again 1 by 2. Oh, it will be 1 by 2. Then it will be 1 by 10 and 1 by 26. So you have data points, 6 data points. Now using these 6 data points, they are evenly spaced. You may apply Newton's forward difference formula. If you wish, you can apply Newton's backward difference formula. You can apply Lagrange interpolation formula. You can apply Newton's divided difference formula. Any formula you can apply, and you find out what is the polynomial passing through these 6 data points. And if you find out the polynomial and plot it in the along over this graph, it will be something like this. Let me see that. Okay, after -4 it will be okay. So the graph will be something like is it something like that, or it is something else? No, it will be below that curve. Okay. So if you find out the polynomial by any interpolation formula and plot it over this graph, it will be something like this curve. This will be the polynomial P5x. Now you see it is not exactly matching. So to get more accurate, what you'll have to do, you'll have to increase the data points. So increase the data points. So from 6 data points, you create 11 data points. You increase the data point from 6 to 11 in the interval -5 to +5. So the data points will be -5 and corresponding functional values, -4 and corresponding functional values, -3 corresponding functional values, and so on. At each integer position, you find out the corresponding functional values, and using those data, 11 data, you create a 10-degree polynomial which will be approximating the function f of x equals to 1 by 1 plus x square. And if you do so, you will see the graph will be looking something like this. The graph will be looking something like this. So you see, everywhere else it will be following the curve. The P10x, the 10-degree polynomial, will be following the curve y equals to 1 by 1 plus x square. But at the beginning and at the end, there will be a fluctuation. At the beginning and at the end. You can see the scenario from this PDF. I plotted it wrongly, but you got the idea. There will be a fluctuation. You see at the beginning and at the end. So if you want to try the polynomial more accurate to the function 1 upon 1 plus x square, you will have to increase the data points. So suppose you have increased the data point to 21. Then if you try to find 20-degree polynomial which will approximate f of x equals to 1 by 1 plus x square, then you will see everywhere else except the starting and beginning, the 20th degree polynomial will be matching the function. But at the end and at the beginning, you will get a huge fluctuation. So even though you are increasing the number of data, the obtained polynomial is not matching totally with the given function. So this polynomial, as you increase the degree, that is not converging towards the function. Okay. So that is why higher order polynomial approximation are not suggested. If there are 100 data points and you use Newton's forward difference formula or Lagrange interpolation formula, you will end up with 99th degree polynomial, and that may not give you the accurate value at the starting and at the beginning. Okay. So that is why what we are planning to do, we are planning to interpolate the data by third degree polynomial. We are not bothering how many data points are there. We are planning to approximate those data points by exactly third degree polynomial. So what we are going to do? So if suppose, so cubic, let me write down the term, cubic spline interpolation. I will explain the term spline. Cubic spline interpolation. So what we are planning to do, suppose this is x axis, y axis, this is x, this is y, and these are the data points. Let's say x0, x1, x2, x3. Only these 4 data points are there. Let me add one more. X4. These 5 data points are there. Corresponding heights are, suppose these are the corresponding heights. So these are y1, y2, y3, and so on. So if you write down the name of these points, they are x0, y0. This is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. This is x3, y3. And last one is x4, y4. So suppose there are 4 data points, 5 data points. So if we apply Lagrange interpolation, what will be the degree of the polynomial? What will be the highest degree for 5 data using Lagrange interpolation formula? It will be of degree 4. If the data points are 10 and you apply Lagrange interpolation, the degree of the polynomial may be highest degree will be 9. If 100 data points, it will be 99 highest degree. Degree will be depending on the higher order forward difference, which is non-zero. But here what we are planning to do, we are not bothering how many data points are there. We are always going to approximate the data points by third degree polynomial. How? 2 consecutive data will be joined by a third degree polynomial. So x0, y0, x1, y1, they will be connected by a third degree polynomial. So this is P1x. It is polynomial of degree 3. Next data x1, y1 and x2, y2 will be connected by again a third degree polynomial. So it will be another polynomial of degree 3. Suppose that is P2x. So it will be a third degree polynomial. 2 ups and downs will be there. This is P2x. Again from x3 to x2, y2, x3, y3, we will be connecting this data by a third degree polynomial. So suppose that is p3x. This is p3x. And the last two data, they also will be connected by a third degree polynomial, that is p4x. So each in sub-interval, the data points are connected by a third degree polynomial. So what is the total degree of the complete polynomial starting from x0 to x4? It is of degree 3. So that polynomial p of x, which will be interpolating the given data, that will be piecewise polynomial. It will be p1x, it is of degree 3. So suppose that is a0 plus a1 plus a2 plus a3. X should be there, x square should be there, x cube should be there. In the interval x0 to x1. In the interval x1 to x2, it will be another cubic polynomial. Suppose that is b0 plus b1x plus b2x square plus b3 x cube, x lying between x1 to x2. Another part will be p3x, which is again a third degree polynomial. So that is c0 plus c1x plus c2x square plus c3 x cube. X will be lying between x2 to x3, and in the last sub interval it will be another third degree polynomial. So it is p4x, d0 plus d1x plus d2x square plus d3 x cube. X belongs to x3 to x4. So it is piecewise polynomial. Each piece is a cubic polynomial. So what is the total degree? What is the degree of the complete polynomial p of x? This polynomial. What is its degree? It is of degree 3. Each part is of degree 3. So p of x will be of degree 3. So it is not depending on the number of data points. We are deciding how we will be connecting the data points by a cubic polynomial. Why? Because it has been theoretically proven that this cubic spline interpolation gives you the most accurate result compared to the any other interpolation. Now the proof is beyond the scope of the syllabus. So we'll assume that is true, and we'll see how to find out the cubic spline interpolation for a given set of data points. Now here, how many unknowns are there? If you want to find out, suppose there are 5 data points which I have plotted in the screen. So we are getting 4 third degree polynomial, and each third degree polynomial, how many unknowns are there? 4 unknowns are there. In arbitrary third degree polynomial, 4 unknowns are there. And how many such polynomials are there? 4. Total unknowns are 4 into 4, 16. Okay. So for 5 data points, how many unknowns are you are getting? 16. For 5 data points, if you want to identify the cubic spline interpolation, then how many unknowns you are getting? 5 minus 1 into 5 minus 1 equals to 16. So if there are 100 data points, then there will be 99 subintervals. So in 99 subintervals, there will be 99 third degree polynomial. So for 100 data points, okay, for 100 data points, there are 99 subintervals, and each subinterval there will be a cubic polynomial which will have 4 arbitrary constants. So in 99 subinterval, we'll have 99 cubic polynomial. So total unknowns will be 99 into 4. So 396 unknowns. So if you want to identify these 396 unknowns, you need 396 equation with 396 unknowns, is not it? So there should be 396 equation. So it is very difficult to solve. So that is why what we are planning to do, we want to make the dimension of the solving system of equation less. We somehow have to create some sophisticated method in which there will be less number of equations. We only have to solve very less number of equations. Let's see how we can do that. So the definition of cubic spline is, just a moment, let me open that PDF in Microsoft Edge. I will be teaching that cubic spline from this PDF. The derivation is a bit lengthy, so I will be explaining that from the PDF. You follow it from the PDF. If you are still unable to understand, you may ask me in the next theoretical class. So open with Microsoft Edge. Okay. So what is the term spline stands for? Spline is thin metal strip used by draftman. Draftman is that person who prepare legal document or graphs. Okay. So if you ask a draftman to create a smooth curve means what? Whose derivative exists at every point. Okay. So if you ask a draftman to create a smooth curve for through a given set of data points, then what he will do? He will take a thin metal strip and he will somehow trap the metal strip through the given data points. So here these are the 4 data points. You see, these are the 4 data points. I am circling them. This is one data point. These nails are the data points. Another data point, second, third data point, and here fourth data point. So if you ask a draftman, okay, create a smooth curve passing through this data, he'll consider a very thin metal strip and he will trap the metal strip through the nail in this way. And then he will simply follow the metal strip to draw the curve. Okay. Another picture is there to understand the concept. You see, these nails are the data points. So if you want a smooth curve, you consider a thin metal strip and you trap the metal strip through the nails in this manner, and then you simply follow the metal strip to get a smooth curve. Okay, so this is the thing which is called spline, thin metal strip. So what is our plan here? We will be joining 2 consecutive data by a 3rd degree polynomial. In that case, we will get cubic spline. If we join 2 consecutive data by a straight line, we get linear spline. So linear spline is very simple. You simply join 2 consecutive data by a straight line. So it will look something like this, a linear spline. We are not bothering about linear spline. So if these are the data points and you want to get a linear spline, simply join 2 consecutive data by a straight line. So this is first part. Okay. Second part will be joining next 2 data, and third part will be joining the last 2 data. So this is the linear spline which will be interpolating the 4 data points. Now here if you look at the curve which you have obtained, that curve is continuous, but its derivative does not exist everywhere. At these sharp corners, derivative does not exist. So we do not want that. We want to make it smooth so that derivative exists everywhere. So that then in that case, you will have to increase the degree of each piece by 1. So that will be quadratic spline. So first is linear spline. We are not going in details. Then is quadratic spline. So what is quadratic spline? You will be joining 2 consecutive data by a quadratic curve. So if these are the data points, then you will be joining 2 consecutive data by a quadratic curve. So this is a quadratic curve joining 2 data. Then another quadratic curve joining the data, and the last 2 data will be joined by another quadratic curve. So here, though the curve is continuous and derivative exists everywhere, the slope of the curve is the curvature of the curve is not continuous. So that is why we are increasing the degree of each piece by 1 more. So that is why we are considering cubic spline. We want curve to be continuous, we want derivative to be continuous, we want curvature of the curve to be continuous. So that is why we are considering cubic spline. Okay, so in cubic spline, two consecutive data will be connected by a straight line. By a cubic polynomial. So you see the idea how to get the form. So the definition of cubic spline is, this PDF has been uploaded in the class material folder. First, the polynomial should be passing through the data points. So suppose there are n number of data points, xi, yi. I is running from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n. So there are n number of data points. If you use traditional interpolation technique like forward difference formula, backward difference formula, Lagrange interpolation formula, you end up with polynomial of degree n. But you do not want that, because if n is large, the obtained polynomial will be of large degree, and so there will be inaccurate result at the beginning or at the end. There may be. So that is why we are obtaining cubic spline. So first, the polynomial, if the cubic polynomial is denoted by s of x, then s of xi should be passing through the data. So s of xi should be yi. This is the interpolation property. Second part is that s of x, s dash x, and s double dash x all should be continuous on the considered interval. If the starting data is x0, y0, and end data is x and yn, then the three derivatives, s of x, s dash x, and s double dash x, they should be continuous from x0 to xn. So x0 is a, xn is b. And third property is s of x is cubic polynomial. So in each subinterval we'll have a cubic polynomial. So if you write down s of x in piecewise form, s of x will be s1x, some cubic polynomial in the interval x0 to x1, s2x, another cubic polynomial in the interval x1 to x2, and so on up to snx, which is another cubic polynomial in the interval xn minus 1 to xn. Okay. So how to get these small six, small s1x, small s2x, small snx? What is the formula for them? So we need to derive that. Okay. So if small six is cubic polynomial in the interval xi minus 1 to xi, what will be its double derivative? We are considering one piece at a time. So suppose you consider the ith piece. Ith piece is six. So six is a cubic polynomial which is defined in the interval xi minus 1 to xi in that subinterval. Because if you consider the data in two dimension, it is x0, it is x1, it is x2. So somewhere it will be xi minus 1, it will be xi somewhere up to xn. So we are considering the polynomial in this subinterval. So data, if you plot it, they will be, suppose this is yi minus 1 and this is yi. So there will be a cubic polynomial in this subinterval. So suppose that is six. So six is a cubic polynomial. What will be its double derivative? Can you tell me? What will be its double derivative? First derivative will be of 1 less degree, second derivative will be 2 less degree. So original degree is 3. If you find the derivative twice, if you differentiate twice, you will get a first degree polynomial. First degree polynomial means linear polynomial. So suppose si double dash x is x plus b, where a and b are arbitrary constants. So we are assuming this si double dash x equals to x plus b. Okay. Now at the input data points at xi, suppose double derivative values are given by mi. Si double dash at xi equals to mi. Suppose we are assuming it. This value mi is not given. I am assuming that at input data points, the double derivative of si is mi. So using this, we will get two equations, two unknowns. Okay. You put x equals to xi, then si double dash xi will be mi, si double dash xi minus 1 will be mi minus 1. So there you are getting two equations. So from these two equations, you solve for a and b. So if you solve for a and b, these values of a and b are given by this. Once you get the value of a and b, substitute in equation number 3 in the double derivative. So you will be getting si double dash x something like this. Okay, so you do the calculation line by line. If I do it, it will take time. There is nothing much to understand. There is simple calculation. You can do it. So this is si double dash x. So how to get si x from si double dash x? How to get the original function? You will have to integrate it twice. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So am I audible? Students, are you still listening me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you are getting a double derivative of SIX in this form. Now how to get SIX back? You will have to integrate twice. So do the integration twice. Okay. Then you will get equation number 5. There are two arbitrary constant, integrating constant will be introduced. So you will have to evaluate these two arbitrary integrating constants. How can you get? Use the interpolation property. This car will be passing through the data points SIX. Okay. So what will be SIXI minus 1? That will be yi minus 1. You will look at the car. What will be SIXI minus 1? It will be this height yi minus 1. And what will be SIXI? It will be this height. This will be yi. So you are getting two equations. Okay, so use those two equations to solve C1 and C2. So if you use those two equations to solve C1 and C2, you will get these values of C1 and C2. Once you get these two values of C1 and C2, you substitute these values in equation number 5 to get SIX. Okay. So if you substitute, you will end up with equation number 6. So this is the formula for each SIX, each piece. How to find each piece? From here, from this formula. 1 upon 6 hi xi minus x whole cube times mi minus 1 plus x minus xi minus 1 whole cube times mi plus xi minus x times 6 yi minus 1 minus mi minus 1 hi square plus x minus xi times 6 y minus mi hi square. So this is the formula for each piece. This is a cubic polynomial. Now here the unknowns are, everything is known to you. Xi is known to you, yi is known to you. Only unknowns are these mi, because you assumed that. So you will have to find out these mi. If you are able to find out these mi, then this formula can be used to find out each piecewise cubic polynomial. Okay. So how to find out these mi? So you see, we have used the continuity of second derivative, we have used the continuity of the function s of x, but we have not used the continuity of first derivative. So how to get these mi? In that case, we will be using the continuity of first derivative. So where should I check the continuity of first derivative? At the intermediate points, at the internal points. So how many internal points are there? If the number of data points are n plus 1, if the data points are x0, y0, x1, y1 up to xn, yn, how many intermediate points are there? Internal points are there? N minus 1. Okay. Internal points are x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3 up to xn minus 1, yn minus 1. So at all those internal points, we will be checking the continuity of the first derivative to get the values of mi. So that is what we are doing here. So if you want to check the continuity of first derivative, first you find out what is the first derivative in I minus 1th subinterval and ith subinterval. Okay. So you first differentiate SI x once, then you will get SI dash x, which is defined in the interval xi minus 1 to xi. Then in that SI dash x, put simply I equals to I plus 1. Then you get SI plus 1 dash x, which will be defined in the interval xi to xi plus 1. And then use this continuity condition of first derivative. You will end up with this system of equations. So this system of equations. So how many equations are there? This equation will be equal to number of internal points or intermediate points. So for n plus 1 data, how many internal points are there? N minus 1. So the number of equations will be n minus 1. Okay. So n minus 1 equations. N minus 1 equations with n minus 1 unknowns. Sorry, unknowns will be more. Unknown will be n plus 1 because the unknowns are m0, m1, m2 up to mn. So unknowns are n plus 1. These are the unknowns. These are the unknowns. Because we assumed what was mi? Mi was, you see, mi was si double dash x at xi for I equals to 0, 1, 2 up to n. So unknowns are n plus 1 and the equations are n minus 1. So you will not get unique solution. Here unknowns are more, equations are less. So you will not get unique solution. And if you want to find out the cubic spline interpolation uniquely, you need n plus 1 equation with n plus 1 unknowns. So two more equations should be provided if you want to identify these mi uniquely. So how to get two more equations? So that will be provided by you upon your choice. Okay. So if you want natural spline means what is the shape of the curve at the beginning point and what is the shape of the curve at the end point. By natural spline means the shape of the curve will be straight line at the beginning point, beginning data, and the shape of the curve will be straight line at the end data. So that straight line condition is given by double derivative equals to 0. So for natural spline, because for straight line curvature is 0 and curvature is given by double derivative. So if m0 equals to 0 equals to mn, so these conditions will be provided for natural spline. If nothing is mentioned or you are asked to find a natural spline means the shape of the curve at the beginning data and the end data will be straight line. So you are getting m0 equals to 0 equals to mn. Okay. So if nothing is mentioned, you will assume this. If natural spline is mentioned, you will assume this. And if any other conditions are given, it will be given to you. Some values of m will be known to you. At least two values should be known to you. Then only it will have unique solution. So we'll assume that the obtained spline is natural spline. That means the shape is straight line at the beginning and at the end. For that m0 equals to 0 equals to mn. So now we have n plus 1 equations with n plus 1 unknowns. You can solve it. Okay. So initially you had to solve 4n number of equation with 4n number of unknowns for n plus 1 data. Is not it? I mentioned it somewhere. You had to solve somewhere I mentioned. Yes, you see, for 100 data points, you will have to solve 396 equations with 396 unknowns. But in this technique, you will have to solve only 1/4 time equations of the original data. So you will have to solve only 99 equations. If 100 data points are there, you will have to solve only 99 equations with 99 unknowns. Okay. So this is what is the technique. So in short, cubic spline is given by piecewise polynomial. Each piece is cubic. So this is the cubic spline polynomial for n plus 1 data points. Formula for SIX is given by this equation number 10. You will have to remember this. There is no other way. This is the formula. Now here everything is known to you except the GMI. So if you want to identify the GMI, you will have to solve these equations given by equation number 11. Okay. So here we are not bothering how the data points are given. Are they evenly spaced or they are not evenly spaced? We are not bothering. Okay. Now by chance, if the data points are evenly spaced, then the formula 10 and 11 is very simplified form. Formula 10 will be same as this, only HI will be replaced with the uniform distance, uniform gap. HI will be H, the uniform gap between the data points in formula 10. And in formula 11, it will have very simplified form. Since the data points are evenly spaced, what will happen? HI will be same as HI plus 1, which will be suppose H. So you replace HI plus 1 by H if the data points are evenly spaced. So then you will have this simplified form. The system of equation will be reducing to this: mi minus 1 plus 4 times mi plus mi plus 1 equals to 6 by h square yi minus 1 minus 2 times yi plus 1. And the formula for SIX will be given by this. Okay. And how many equations you will be getting? I equals to 1 to I equals to n minus 1. So there will be n minus 1 equations and 2 equations or 2 values will be provided by you depending on the requirement. What kind of spline you want? What will be the shape of the curve at the beginning or at the end? So if you are nothing is mentioned, you will assume m0 equals to 0 equals to mn, or if natural spline is mentioned, you also will assume the same condition. Okay. So let us see one example. So here data points are given to you. So if you plot the data points in xy plane, you will get this. This side is x-axis, this side is y-axis. So derivation part you can forget. You only remember. You obviously have to understand the concept behind that, but derivation part you may forget. Only have to remember these last formulas. How to obtain cubic spline from the given data. So SIX formula is given by this, and unknowns MI are obtained from this equation. If the data points are evenly spaced, it has a simplified form. You have to remember this. So let us solve one problem. So if you plot the data point in XY plane, you are getting 0, 2. So this is 0, height is 2. So somewhere this data, then 1 minus 6. 1 minus 6 will be somewhere here. So suppose this is minus 6. Then 2 minus 8. So this is 2 minus 8 will be somewhere here. And then 3, 2. So this is 3 and this is 2. This is 2. So 2 consecutive data will be joined by a cubic spline. So suppose they are given by this. So first 2 data are joined by, let's say, this cubic polynomial. Okay. 2 ups and downs are there in this curve. Then next 2 data will be connected by another cubic polynomial. So suppose they are this, and last 2 data will be joined by another cubic polynomial. So suppose they are given by this. So here you have obtained cubic spline interpolation passing through the 4 data. Each piece is a cubic polynomial. So we have, for 4 data points, we have 3 subintervals. So we'll get 3 pieces. So 3 pieces. So suppose S of x is S1x in the interval 0 to 1, first interval, subinterval. S2x, another polynomial in the interval 1 to 2, and S3x, the last subinterval 2 to 3. What is the formula? If you look at the data, they are evenly spaced. What is the spacing between the data points? What is H? H equals to 1. Okay. So we know the formula for SIX is 1 by 6H times xi minus x whole cube times mi minus 1 plus x minus xi minus 1 whole cube times mi plus xi minus x into 6yi minus 1 minus mi minus 1 into h square plus x minus xi minus 1 into 6yi minus mi h square. So this is the formula for SIX. You will have to remember this. Now mi are given by, I told you, if the data points are evenly spaced, they have a simplified form, the system of equations. So these are the equations, system of equations. So let us try to find out the mi values first. Okay. So how many internal points are there? Two internal points are there. Two internal points are 1 comma minus 6 and 2 comma minus 8. So we'll get two equations. So put I equals to 1. So if you put I equals to 1, you will get m0. Then 4mi will give you 4m1. I plus 1 will give you m2. 6 by h square, put I equals to 0. So I minus 1 will give you y0 minus 2y1 plus y2. Then to get next equation, put I equals to 2. So if you put I equals to 2, you will get another equation, m1 plus 4m2 plus m3 equals to 6 by h square, y1 minus 2y2 plus y3. Now look at the data and give the name. So the data points are, let me write down one more time, x, y, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is x0, x1, x2, x3, x values are, and y values are 2, minus 6, minus 8, 2. So this is y0, y1, y2, y3. So now nothing is mentioned in the given problem. Obtain a Q spline for the given data. So we'll assume that the shape of the curve at the beginning and at the end is straight line. So m0 equals to m3 equals to 0. I'll assume that. So m0 is 0 and m3 is 0. So we have only two equations with two unknowns here from here. Okay. So two equations, two unknowns. First find out the equations. So m0, which is 0. So I can remove that part. 4m1 plus m2 equals to 6 by h square. 6 is by h square is 1. So I am not writing 6 into y0. Y0 is 2 minus 2 times y1. So 2 times minus 6 minus plus y2. So plus y2 will be minus 8. Okay. So after solving, you are getting 4m1 plus m2 equals to 36. Another equation, here m3 is 0. So you can remove that part. m1 plus 4m2 is 6 by h square, y1 minus 2y2 plus y3. So it is 6 times y1 is minus 6 minus 2y2. So minus 2 times minus 8 plus y3, which is 2. So that will give you m1 plus 4m2 equals to 72. So you have two equations. 4m1 plus m2 equals to 36 and m1 plus 4m2 equals to 72. So you solve these two equations and find out what is m1 and m2. So if you do so, you will get the values of m1 and m2 as 4.8 and 16.8 respectively. Okay. So all the values in SI is now known to you. This was the form of the polynomial in each subinterval given by equation number 14. So in this equation number 14, everything is known to you now. Mi is known to you, xi, yi is known to you. Just substitute the values. So what will be S1x? Put I equals to 1. So that will be the yellow curve in the first subinterval. What will be that equation? That equation will be obtained by putting I equals to 1. So put I equals to 1. S1x is 1 upon 6h x1 minus x whole cubes into m0 plus x minus x0 whole cube times m1 plus x1 minus x times 6y0 minus m0 h square plus x minus x0 times 6y1 minus m1 h square. Now substitute all the values you know. So this is what I have written. This is s1x. There you substitute the values. M0 equals to 0, M1 equals to 4.8, M2 equals to 16.8, and M3 equals to 0. So these values are known to you. Also, you know what is x1, x2, y2. Look at here. You see, x1 is 1, x0 is 1, x1 is 2, x3 is 2, 3, and x3 is 4, and y0 is 2, y1 is minus 6, y2 is minus 8, and y3 is 2. So put all those values in this formula, simplify it, you will get this polynomial. Minus 0.8x cube minus 8.8x plus 2. So that is the first part of the polynomial in the first interval, subinterval. How to get S2? In SIX put I equals to 2. So this is the S2. Now put all the values. Everything is available. You will get the part of the polynomial in the second subinterval given by this. And again put I equals to 3 to get the last piece of the polynomial in the last subinterval. So put I equals to 3 in SIX and substitute everything, simplify, you will end up with this. Okay. So ultimately S of x will be given by this. Each piece is a cubic polynomial, and since there are 4 data points, so 3 subintervals. In these 3 subintervals, we'll have 3 cubic polynomials, and they are given by this. So this will be your final answer, the cubic spline, which will be interpolating the given data. Now, I know the method is bit lengthy, but if you want accurate answer, you will have to compensate that. Remember, you are not solving large system of equation. You will be solving, obviously you will be solving large system of equation if the number of data points are large, but your answer will be very accurate. So this is the idea behind cubic spline. Okay, so I'll stop the discussion at this point. If anybody is having any doubts, you can ask me. If not, you may leave the class. So I'll wait for your response.